Imagine this. You've just booked a flight to visit friends in the United States, excited for an adventure, only to find out your airline is banned. Not delayed, not suspended, banned outright from flying into the country. Sounds dramatic, doesn't it? But this isn't a hypothetical. This has happened more times than you might think. Throughout history, several countries have faced restrictions that kept their planes grounded or diverted from U.S. skies. So how does a country or airline get banned from flying to the U.S., and why does it happen? It all boils down to a mix of safety, politics, and sometimes even scandals. Let's unpack the layers. First, and perhaps the most straightforward reason, is safety. Air travel may seem sleek and glamorous, but behind the scenes it's governed by strict rules and standards. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, known as the FAA, assigns safety ratings to countries based on how well their civil aviation authorities adhere to international safety standards. These standards are put forth by the International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO, and they're designed to ensure airlines operate safely and securely. Now, if a country's aviation authority doesn't make the cut, the FAA steps in to downgrade its rating. And here's where it gets interesting. If the rating drops to Category 2, the lowest tier, airlines from that country are prohibited from starting new routes to the U.S. They can still operate pre-existing flights, but only under strict oversight. However, in extreme cases where serious safety lapses are identified, the U.S. may ban all flights from that country entirely. Take Venezuela as an example. In 2019, the U.S. Department of Transportation suspended all commercial flights to and from Venezuela due to safety and security risks. Speaking of geopolitics, let's dive deeper into another reason countries get banned: international relations. Air travel isn't just about moving people. It's also a symbol of global connectivity. The political crisis in the country had spiraled to the point where reliable oversight of its aviation infrastructure was impossible, forcing the U.S. to act. Airlines like Conviasa, Venezuela's state-run carrier, suddenly found their wings clipped, leaving countless passengers stuck in the middle of a geopolitical fallout. The consequences of the decision resonated throughout the aviation industry, illustrating how deeply political turmoil can affect global travel. Passengers faced uncertainty and frustration as they scrambled to find alternative routes or reconcile with the abrupt change in their travel plans. This example serves as a stark reminder of how aviation is intertwined with politics, where decisions made in the corridors of power can ground planes and disrupt lives across the world. Speaking of geopolitics, let's dive deeper into another reason countries get banned: international relations. Air travel isn't just about moving people. It's also a symbol of global connectivity. When relations between nations sour, aviation can become a battleground for political posturing. For instance, after Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014, several nations, including the U.S., imposed sanctions targeting various aspects of Russian industries, including aviation. Russian airlines faced mounting restrictions, and although this didn't result in an outright U.S. ban, it demonstrated how geopolitical conflicts can directly impact access to American skies. Similarly, countries embroiled in controversies over support for terrorism or human rights abuses have had their aviation links severed. The U.S. uses bans not only to address safety, but also to make a political statement. But politics and safety aren't the only driving forces. Economic retaliation plays a role too. Imagine a scenario where foreign airlines are given unfair access to the U.S. market, creating an uneven playing field for American carriers. Trade wars and disputes sometimes spill over into the aviation industry, leading to bans or severe restrictions. For example, Gulf carriers like Emirates and Qatar Airways have faced pushback from U.S. airlines, accusing them of unfair competition thanks to government subsidies. While this hasn't resulted in outright bans, it demonstrates how economic tensions often lurk beneath the surface. Another surprising reason countries or airlines face bans from U.S. airspace is cybersecurity. Modern aviation relies heavily on technology, navigation systems, communication networks, and even passenger data. If a nation or airline is believed to pose a risk to the cybersecurity of U.S. aviation infrastructure, restrictions could quickly follow. It's an emerging concern in our increasingly connected world, but one to keep an eye on as cyber threats evolve. And let's not forget reputation scandals. In 2021, Belarus faced widespread condemnation after diverting a commercial Ryanair flight to detain a political dissident. The move was seen as state-sponsored air piracy, prompting the U.S. and other nations to impose targeted aviation restrictions. While Belarusian airlines weren't major players in the American market, the incident underscored how reckless behavior can lead to swift consequences. So what happens when a ban is imposed? For passengers, it can upend plans, create confusion, and sometimes lead to stranded travelers unable to reach their destination. For airlines, it's devastating. A ban on U.S. flights can mean lost revenue, damaged trust, and a bruised reputation on the global aviation stage. But not all bans are permanent. Countries and airlines that face restrictions often work hard to regain compliance, improve safety protocols, or mend diplomatic relations. Take Indonesia, for example. After facing a Category 2 safety downgrade, the country implemented sweeping reforms and was eventually restored to Category 1, opening the door for its airlines to resume operations in the U.S. Aviation bans are a reminder that the skies are as much about diplomacy and regulation as they are about movement. Behind every grounded plane or suspended route are layers of geopolitics, safety challenges, and sometimes global drama. So the next time you board a flight, take a moment to appreciate what it represents, not just a journey, but a delicate balance of international cooperation, oversight, and trust. Because when that balance tips, the consequences can be felt all over the world, even by countries banned from flying to the U.S.